What's going on, guys? Josh here, and today I'm going to be talking about the top gimbal tracking shots that you can use with your Zhiyun Crane 2 or DJI Ronin S. If you have any other sort of gimbal, don't worry, this video will still help you out. We're going to first talk about the over-the-shoulder shot. This is a great way to help establish a character's actions, or the shot can just simply tell the viewers where your subject is going. Now, if you take a closer look at the shot, you'll notice that it has a shallow depth of field. I was using a 70mm focal length using the Zeiss f4 24-70 lens. I'll leave a link for it in the description box below. I highly recommend getting that lens because it's sharp, it provides fast focus, and overall it's small and light. Great for gimbal work. The over-the-shoulder shot can either be placed on the left or right side of the screen. On this shot here, I placed Jason Vong on the right side of the screen, and I used the rule of thirds to help me out with my composition. I strongly recommend using telephoto glass on your gimbals because you are going to get some beautiful shots here, especially if you want to focus on a specific subject. If you want to learn how to master telephoto lenses on gimbals, go ahead and check out this video right here. Our next tracking shot is a full front tracking shot. I'm walking backwards, and if you're doing this kind of shot, make sure you have a spotter. I placed Jason Vong in the center of the frame simply because I thought it went well with the overall video. So you can mess around with different compositions, but I thought the center frame was pretty good. You want to make sure that you have the character either in the middle or on the left or right part of the screen, using the rule of thirds. You don't want to have your character off of the rule of thirds because it's just going to look like an awkward shot and a lot of wasted space can be seen, especially headroom and any other type of room that shouldn't be there, also known as dead space. I strongly recommend turning on your rule of thirds grid in your cameras. That way you have a great grid to go off of and you won't mess up your composition. Our next shot here is a profile tracking shot using foreground. This is a great way to get what we call a parallax effect. As you can see here, Jason Vong looks like he's walking into the pillars, and those pillars provide an excellent foreground. You get a background, you get a middle ground, you get a whole bunch of grounds, and it just creates a much more cinematic experience and cinematic vibe. In order to pull off this shot, I made sure to use one dominant hand and one supporting hand, and that basically means use your dominant hand, for example, my right hand on the top, left hand on the bottom, and I put more pressure on my right hand and leave my left hand as more of a support. I don't put that much pressure using my left hand. And keep that in mind because the less contact you actually have with the gimbal, the better the results you are going to get, especially for these profile tracking shots. I started to notice that when I use one hand for certain shots, my gimbal footage comes out cleaner, especially for orbit shots. And don't worry, I'm gonna have a tutorial for you guys on orbit shots. So make sure you're subscribed with those notifications turned on. The next shot involves a spiral staircase. You can do a lot with spiral staircases. I just started off with a simple tracking shot of Jason Vong walking up those stairs, and then I transitioned into a full vertical shot of the staircase. So basically the camera was looking directly up into the ceiling, and I added a little bit of a turn. You can either use the joystick to turn the gimbal, or you can actually turn with the gimbal. Believe it or not, I got much more accurate footage if I turned with the gimbal. You might get a little bit dizzy, but don't worry, you're gonna get the shot right. If you want to use the joystick, make sure you're in lock mode. That way you have full control over the pan. Also, don't forget to apply a little bit of pressure to the joystick just so you have more control over the pan speed. Last but not least, we have the tilt and drop silhouette effect. A silhouette is basically a dark subject with a bright background. So how do you shoot this? Well, you're going to start off with the camera tilting up, and then as you dolly in, the gimbal is slowly going to start tilting down. Now, in order to achieve the tilt and drop effect, you want to start off by pointing the camera up into the ceiling, and then as you dolly in into your subject, you slowly start to tilt down. Control is everything. One hand on top, one hand on the bottom, and dolly and slowly start tilting down. I strongly recommend checking out my playlist of gimbal videos right here because they are definitely going to help you out. And of course, I'm going to have many more tutorials coming on gimbal operation. Now, a very good basics gimbal video for you to check out is this one right here, where I teach you how to operate a gimbal from scratch. So for example, if you're a beginner, this video is definitely going to help you out. Also check out this one where I run with the gimbal and it breaks everything down from the steps that I took to how I held the gimbal. Alright guys, that's it for me. I'll see you in the next video. Peace!